Okay, in this lesson video, I'm going to just quickly outline how you approach answering the questions in this lesson, especially how to use the sources that you can see on your screen in front of you, how to sort the data in those sources that will allow you to complete this table, and then how to use this table as well as some of the ideas that I will discuss to answer these two questions. So let's get started. The main idea that we're looking at in today's lesson is how we can use information, and in this case data, to help us understand some things about a country and how developed that country is. As I've outlined in this introduction paragraph, if you read it, the material we looked at last lesson was some photographs that compared and contrasted countries and got you thinking about what development means and what it looks like, and that was based on a range of contrasting photographs. In this lesson, we're going to contrast data on different countries. So let's just have a little look about what we're going to be completing. You're going to be asked to complete this table. And what this table contains is 4 countries taken from around the world, each country at a different level of development from the others. And I've done one for you, so the United Kingdom's been done for you. So if we just have a quick little look at the United Kingdom, we can see that the average person in the United Kingdom has $44,288 a year. Now, what that means is that's the amount of wealth they create. Imagine it's a bit like your parents' income. And the reason we do it in dollars, by the way, is it allows us to compare current countries that have different currencies. So every country's wealth is converted into dollars, and that allows us to compare them. It stops a problem, for example, trying to compare people with pounds and dollars, which obviously have a different value. So British people would be, on the face of it, look to be quite wealthy. What we can see here is that British people live on average to be 81.2 years. That's the life expectancy of an average person. This fact tells us that 100% of people in the United Kingdom can read, so everybody can read and write by the time that they get to 15. And finally, every single person in the United Kingdom has access to clean water. And obviously that comes from putting on a tap and pouring yourself a glass of clean water. So that's the UK, a country we would typically call a highly developed country. So how does Brazil, India, and Mali compare? Well, to get the information on 3 of these things, I would like you to use these 3 websites. So let's just visit each of these in turn. Let's start with the website that shows us the wealth. Okay, so it's just a Wikipedia site, and it's just opening up, and it's going to show you the ranking of all the countries on their wealth. And if we just scroll down, we will get to the table ranking the wealth. There we have it. And first thing we want to do to navigate our way through this, it's ranked according to the richest. So we can see here's the richest country in the world, Luxembourg. The average person in Luxembourg is the richest. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we can see that the poorest, down at the very bottom, is Burundi, $783 a year. So a big difference between Luxembourg and Burundi. But to help you find your data much quicker, if you just click on this little button here, it will automatically rank them according to alphabetic position rather than the actual rankings on size. And that will allow you to, for example, find Brazil, which is one of our 4 countries. And there's the answer for Brazil for the wealth. Okay. And what you then want to do is find the same for India and Mali. Next of all, you want to have a look at life expectancy. So let's jump to that website. And it's Wikipedia again. It's just a list of countries. We're going to do exactly the same as we did last time. So what we can do is we scroll down to all the countries here, and we can see that actually you can find out the overall life expectancy, but you can also see that there's a difference between male and female. And so, for example, in Hong Kong, you see that females live on average 5.8 years longer than men. And in Japan, it's 6.4. And then generally, women are living longer than men in all countries of the world. But if we want to find our countries quickly, we can just hit this little ranking button. That will once again sort it alphabetically, and then you can just scroll down and find the countries that you need. And I would use this column of data, the overall. The overall, by the way, is the average of men and women. Okay. And finally, our last bit of data we're wanting to find is the literacy rate. So we click here, and we're going to find the literacy rate. Now, this one works a little bit differently because we've got quite a lot of data here. You can see we've got the literacy rate. So by the way, this is the percentage of people that can read and write. And what Wikipedia has done is it's sorting it into the different age brackets. So the one that I'm going to ask you to use is youth literacy. So that's how many people between the ages of 15 and 24 can read and write. Now, obviously, in the United Kingdom, everybody, once they get to the age of 15, has some level of literacy. So we have 100% literacy. Whereas in Afghanistan, for example, we can see it's 47% of people can read and write, which means when you think about it, 53% of people in Afghanistan cannot read or write at all. Now, it's already been alphabetically sorted, which will allow you to very quickly find the other countries that you want to do. So there's Brazil, for example. Almost everyone can read and write in Brazil, 99%. Okay, and then obviously what you want to do is also find out India and Mali. Once you've done that, you will have completed your table. You've now to answer these two questions. So the first question, how do you describe the differences between the four countries? Well, you could quite simply say that the United Kingdom is richer than Brazil. And when you've got these two figures here, you'll be able to see that the United Kingdom's GDP is higher than Brazil's. You'll see that once you've got Mali's number in there, that it is much, much higher than Brazil's. So that would be what I'd call quite a low-level description. A higher level of description would be to say that the United Kingdom's wealth is 44,288 compared to Brazil's wealth, which is, and then you could tell me what Brazil's was. A really good level, or what I'd call a high level of description, would be where you tell me how high the United Kingdom's is, how high Brazil's is, and then compare them and actually tell me what the difference is. Now, to do that, you have to do a little sum to work out how much higher the UK's is than Brazil. Now, actually, if you want to go very high level, what you want to do is, rather than compare the United Kingdom with Brazil, compare the United Kingdom with the country, one of these three that has the lowest, because that then shows you the real difference between the highest and the country out of these four, which is the lowest. You could do the same for literacy, life expectancy, literacy. Now, I've given you the data for access to clean water. So, for example, if you were, when you get to this one, you could say the United Kingdom, everybody has access to clean water, whereas in Mali, only 27% do, which is a difference of 73% of people. And that would be what I'd call a high-level description. Now, you're not giving me any reasons. You're just using the data in the table to tell me the differences. Which is the highest, which is the lowest, and how much of a difference is that? Okay. The second question is explain. Now, this is where you have to start to think. So why is a country like Mali less developed than a country like the United Kingdom? And I would like you to just use these four ideas. And what I'd like you to do is think about, when a country has a lot of money, why do its people live a long time? Why are all of its people educated? And why does everybody have access to clean water? In contrast, why, when you get to a country like Mali, where they have very little average wealth per person, why does that mean very few get to read and write, very few get to live a long life, and very few have access to clean water? So what are the things that wealthy countries can afford to do that ensure people live a long time, are educated, and have access to clean water that are missing in countries like Mali? And try to explain what those things are in as much detail as you think you can give based on the knowledge that you've picked up in geography in the years gone by. Okay, so good luck with those tasks. Once you've done it, hand in your work.